So how did you come across the project initially?
Kiki was asked to submit a proposal, and she said, I'm not sure I want to do this, but I certainly don't want to do it by myself. She asked me if I wanted to do it with her. It was very collaborative in a wonderful way. Kiki said, I think all I can think to do is stars. I'm just, the wall is filled with stars. And so it was her initial proposition, and I said, well, that's perfect. You're right. It's an extension of the wall into the void. It's also, the kind of architectural reading, I suppose, is that it's also one of the domes. These things rotated 90 degrees. So that was our initial collaborative observation, and it continued. The interesting thing is that she actually has worked in glass a lot and technically knows much more about glass than I do. And so our roles would take surprising turns. So as the architect, we're more on the frame. But again, we set up the geometries together. The geometries of the frame are very important. It was quite collaborative in a wonderful way.
And can you describe the process you kind of went through, how it developed?
There are not that many elements, so each one, of course, went under a lot of scrutiny. I worked very closely with Guild Studios, who fabricated the window to come up with a technique that it's been used in Europe. They do it in Munich, whereby they silicone traditional blown colored glass, the Lambert's glass, to plate glass. And this is a similar technique. We actually have 2 layers of colored glass, silicone to each other, and then 2 layers of plate glass. And I'm not sure that's ever been done before. And certainly this kind of monumental scale hasn't been done in this country, in Brooklyn. This kind of scale's usually been done in Europe or Munich and imported. The silver stain, which is, I learned from Kiki, the original stain of stained glass, which is the yellow color, is the only color we use other than the color of the glass itself. The color of the glass itself is, as I said, kind of an outflown traditional glass, and yet it's also something that's fairly contemporary. It's called flash glass, and that the blue is, it's actually 2 layers. There's blue kind of milled to a clear layer behind, so if you acid etch off the blue, you can acid etch off the blue and get a white star, a clear star, which we then silver stained. So again, we kept going back and forth between old and new techniques, and of course that's always a challenge.
Yeah, and without the lead, it kind of gives a sense that it's floating or something. And Kiki said at the open house about a Big Bang kind of moment with the swirl.
Yeah.
And it brings to mind things about creation. Is there any kind of symbolism you're working with?
I think there's, in a certain sense, we wanted to use the symbols and the images that were already here. It seemed like this place was filled with symbol and meaning, and that, so it's an extension of that. And one thing Kiki likes to talk about, I think it's a wonderful observation, is that the stars of the wall are 5-pointed. Then the 6-pointed Star of Israel is reserved for important the centers of the domes, just the way it's at the center of our quasi-dome. And that 5-pointed star is could be used in part because it is more secular in order to highlight the presence of the sacred star in special places. It might be because this synagogue was a statement about being in America and being American. The 5-point star is the star of the American flag. It's as much their arrival here as citizens as it is their arrival here as Jews. So certainly that's a symbol.
How is it different for you working in a space that's already here as opposed to kind of making your own space?
New York architects are used to doing that. Kiki certainly she's very interested, I'm speaking for her, but knowing her work, we're both in love with being able to respond to something and to reflect on something and to be a new part of something. And actually there's nothing new, no completely new place in the world. It always has a situation. You always have a ground. This one, as I said, we decided was quite filled enough in certain ways, and that the opportunity here was to reflect on what was here and to make people see it in a new